there's a new hot celebrity out there setting the world on fire.
Okay.
Her name is Moodang. Moodang is a hippopotamus. What Weekly? A weekly recap show where Joe updates his workaholic girlfriend on all the things she missed last week. Things like this. Animals in Australia fall into two particular categories, okay? Category 1, incredibly dangerous animals that will kill you instantly.
Terrifying, yes.
Terrifying, dangerous animals. Category 2, something that looks so ridiculous you can't believe that exists on the planet Earth. Honey, birds. So, Switzerland. So, phonemes.
So that led me, of course, down the rabbit hole of 17th century Icelandic sorcery.
Nice. Scientists make living mice's skin transparent with simple food dye, honey.
No.
What Weekly? A weekly show for the way too busy. Just look for What Weekly, that's HWAT Weekly, in your favorite podcasting app.
Frequency Podcast Network. Stories that matter, podcasts that resonate.
He's in the building!
Drink the moment. Drink it.
I said empty your mind.
Coquettish and coy. Ow. Ow.
What?
There's people that are dying.
Wickedly talented.
More than great. It was historic.
Crack is
World.
Oh, good for you.
I have to apologize.
one of the hottest.
Welcome back to The Reheat, a podcast that re-examines the wildest celebrity news and scandals of yesteryear and asks, how would we react to the same events if they had transpired today? I'm Sarah Sahagian.
And I'm Sadaf Hassan. And to start off this week's very hot off the press, dare I say, allow me to run through a few quickies. The first one being a real spicy one. Cooper Koch, the young new actor who plays one half of the Menendez brothers in the recent Netflix series, revealed his full-frontal scene does not involve a prosthetic.
Impressive.
It is indeed. It is indeed. Our producer, Mary, her eyebrows are way up. Way up. For those wondering, episode 3. Write it down. Now, in other news, maybe less sexier news, Al Pacino released a memoir called Sunny Boy, in case you had no idea, because I swear there has been literally zero marketing for it. He doesn't share a lot of spicy stuff, but he does say that sex scenes have always felt like porn to him. Now, this is just an excuse for me to talk about a little interesting news involving his ex-girlfriend, Noor Alfallah, who is also the mother of his child. Now, here's the thing. She's 34 years old. He's 84 years old. But she also said recently that the pair of them broke up, and she is now romancing none other than Bill Maher.
A younger man.
Indeed. Indeed. I guess that's something. He's way more controversial. I personally would take Al Pacino at any age, Sarah.
I mean, I wish he'd stop dating women who are half a century younger, but otherwise he is a very accomplished actor. So, yes, sure.
For the record, I'm in my 30s, so I would take him. I think I'm.
You're in his demo.
I just make it. I just make it. Okay, and finally, my beloved singer, Rufus Wainwright, called Donald Trump's use of his Hallelujah cover, quote, the height of blasphemy. I don't know. I just love that.
Yeah.
Now, time for our first deep dive this week. Our favorite piece of news is actress Jessica Chastain playing her best role yet, a Karen. Sarah, explain.
Okay, so recently, Jessica Chastain has emerged as somebody who likes to complain a lot on social media.
Yeah.
So in August, she got a lot of press coverage for her complaints about Uber Eats. They canceled a delivery. They often were late. She felt that they just weren't performing well, and she was looking for recommendations for new food delivery services.
So hold on, sorry, you're saying that she was tweeting about this?
Yes, she was tweeting about this.
To the public?
To the public, yes. Herself. Definitely no PR person was doing this for her, because why would they? What I want to know about that first, this is before we get to part 2 of the Jessica Chastain tweets too much scandal. The lady is rich. She's married to Landon Gentry. She's an Oscar-winning actress. Why can't she just send an assistant, whom I'm hoping she pays well, to pick up her food? Why does she have to rely on Uber Eats?
It's insane. Also, does Jessica Chastain need an Uber Eats sponsorship? Like, does she need, like, a Bravo star? Does she need any kind of sponsorship? This woman is fine. She is swimming in royal money.
Yeah, I'm very confused by her. I mean, sometimes her social media posts are like, look at these jewels I'm wearing to the Oscars. And then sometimes they're like, yeah, my Uber Eats didn't arrive on time. I'm mad. So there is a disconnect. Anyway, recently.
This is way worse.
This is way worse. She complained because she flew on a JetBlue flight. That's a discount airline. She describes herself as a loyal JetBlue customer. And the in-seat entertainment system was not working. So it was a 6-hour flight. I understand, Jessica, that this is a disappointment.
Devastating.
But she wanted a complete refund because she paid $1,500 for her ticket and her husband was also there. Her royal husband was flying on JetBlue. These people are hilarious.
He should have flown himself.
And she wanted flight credit, right? She wanted to be able to, I guess, have the flight credit so she could book another JetBlue flight. If you're so disappointed, why do this? Why just...
There's a lot of questions.
Fly Delta. Okay, anyway, the woman was mad and tweeted about it. She tweeted... I'm going to read you what she tweeted.
Please.
And this is like, I don't understand why she did this. Okay. Thank you, JetBlue, for your $15 credit. My flight was $1,500 and the credit is 1/100th of the money I paid you. Strange that I paid that for your flight entertainment system that didn't work for the duration of the 6-hour flight, but I guess it was worth it for this $15 credit.
Oh, my God. She did the math. She hit us with a fraction.
She's really good at fractions. Anyway, good. You're encouraging numeracy. Good for you, Jessica. Okay, here's what I want to know, okay? First of all, I'm sure she has an assistant. Mm-hmm. Get them to complain to JetBlue if you really care this much about it. Secondly, you are super rich. Just vote with your wallet. Is it worth the price of your dignity to get the $1,500 back? Now, it seems to me like Jessica's very invested in fairness, right? Mm-hmm. I paid it, so I want the service that I paid for. And as somebody who is not rich and royal, I am also, somebody who would consider complaining online. But that's because I don't have an assistant and because $1,500 is a lot of money for me. It is not for her. So, Sadaf, what is your reaction to the fact that Jessica Chastain can't stop complaining about services online?
I just want to cackle. Here's my thing. I've not been a fan of Jessica Chastain's for a while. I feel like this exposes her red-haired ass, and I'm thrilled about it. And I think here's the thing. She's definitely out of touch. She's just so wealthy. She's in this real upper echelon of Hollywood where does it really matter to the public that you didn't get any movie to watch during your flight and that you would like a bit of your money back? Because how much does that flight, the cost of that flight actually matter to you? That's a drop in the bucket for Miss Chastain.
Also, doesn't she have an iPhone? Like, listen to podcasts, lady.
Wow, there you go.
Listen to Audible. Like, listen to our podcast.
Listen to The Reheat.
Listen
Jessica
to a book
Chastain.
on Audible. Like, there's so many things you can do. I have also been on flights where I didn't have access to an in-flight entertainment system. And I just, like the pleb that I am, it didn't even occur to me to complain. I just dealt with it, right? Like, you can bring books, podcasts, so many things. Is she so rich that she doesn't listen to podcasts or read books with her eyes? Like, can she only watch movies?
Maybe her assistant reads books out loud to her so she doesn't have to read them herself. Like, I can just picture her assistant, like, holding up a book, flipping the pages for her, and reading it out loud because, quite frankly, her acting and her taking on of different personas in a story never really gelled with me. I'm sure her assistant could do a better job as they read it to her.
I don't know, I mean, like, I do think she's a talented actress. I have enjoyed her since she was on Veronica Mars as a youngster.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, she was in a bit part.
Which one might say suits her better.
I do like her as an actor, but now I'm wondering, what is the strategy here? Does she keep tweeting things that she thinks are relatable? Like, is she trying to become more of a celebrity, more of a personality? My theory is she was on track to be sort of the next Julianne Moore.
Right.
And she wants to be more of a Reese Witherspoon. Maybe she wants a lifestyle brand. Maybe she wants to be more of a Jennifer Garner every mom. Except Jennifer Garner would never do this. She would get her assistant to complain to JetBlue. This is so strange. Why is she even flying JetBlue? She's so fancy. That's a discount airline.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. I love me some Jennifer Garner. I relate to her plenty when she's like baking cookies in the kitchen and then she burns them a little bit. Like, that's good enough for me from a celebrity of this level. Mm-hmm. Jessica Chastain, I'm never going to relate to you, ma'am. And here's the thing. She's been working on her social media personality for a while, I think, right? And I think she is 100%, you nailed it, trying to be like the average everyday man or woman. But we are not relating. It's not happening. And remind me, Sarah, was she not one of the many celebrities who were involved in that COVID era online campaign where they all sang a piece of that song? Which song was it? Imagine.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure she was a part of that.
I blocked that out.
Yeah. And that was an early sign that there's not, she's, again, out of touch. That's the kindest way for me to put it.
Cringe. I mean, here's the thing. I am also a mom. Sometimes when you're momming all day, I mean, I'm assuming she's a nanny, but maybe she's home all day with the kids. You crave some interaction. You feel isolated. You turn to social media. You tweet some stuff you shouldn't tweet. Sometimes it's ill-advised. But you can hire someone literally to take your phone away if you're going to tweet something embarrassing, Jessica. You have that much money. Just have a social media expert move into your house with you to prevent embarrassing instances like this, right? There are many problems money can solve, and this is one of them. I do like Jessica. I want the best for her, but I want her to be dignified.
Here's the thing, Sarah. She has the best. She's got it all, and she's got plenty of it. Here's the only pro I can think to this whole situation. At least it's JetBlue that she came after, because imagine if it was a smaller company, which many celebrities have taken aim before at in social media, and then they get completely destroyed and torpedoed. And again, countless celebs have done shit like this before. It's just a bad look. Aim higher. It doesn't matter to you at the end of the day, and you just look like a moron.
What if this has a negative impact on JetBlue's sales and the ballerina farm has to close?
Oh, my God. Well, that's a whole other episode, and Jessica Chastain is no Taylor Swift. I don't think she has quite that level of impact. Sorry, JetBlue.
All right, the ballerina farm is safe. I wish it weren't, but it is.
Again, future episode, because we got to dig into that.
All right, and if you don't know what the ballerina farm is, Google it. You will be shocked. All right, so I think the time has come to take a quick break, and we will be back soon with more gossip.
There's a new hot celebrity out there setting the world on fire.
Okay.
Her name is Moodang. Moodang is a hippopotamus. What Weekly? A weekly recap show where Joe updates his workaholic girlfriend on all the things she missed last week. Things like this. Animals in Australia fall into two particular categories, okay? Category 1, incredibly dangerous animals that will kill you instantly.
Terrifying, yes.
Terrifying,
absolutely.
dangerous animals. Category 2, something that looks so ridiculous you can't believe that exists on the planet Earth. Honey, birds. So, Switzerland. So, phonemes.
So that led me, of course, down the rabbit hole of 17th century Icelandic sorcery.
Nice. Scientists make living mice's skin transparent with simple food dye, honey.
No.
What Weekly? A weekly show for the way too busy. Just look for What Weekly, that's HWAT Weekly, in your favorite podcasting app.
And we're back. Now, one of the spiciest moments in celeb news this week was as local as it gets, Sarah. Let me hit you with this, because I don't know if you've heard about it already. On Dragon's Den, which is the Canadian version of Shark Tank, for those not in the know, and I'm embarrassed to verify that, but there you go. Guest dragon and Marvel actor Simu Liu had a rare, impressive moment. That's right, I'm not his biggest fan. I don't think you are either, Sarah, and I know many of you listeners are not either, but that's a discussion for another day.
For another time.
Yeah, but now, on the show, quite recently, when a team of white folks presented their idea for a bubble tea or boba drink with plans to transform it into something healthier, Simu let them know directly that he would not invest because it smacked of cultural appropriation. Now, bubble tea has Taiwanese origins, but this drink did not note that at all on its packaging and branding, and there was no one culturally relevant on its team either. As Simu put it, if he'd invested, he'd be, quote, uplifting a business that is profiting off of something that feels so dear to my cultural heritage. This has exploded online over the last couple of weeks. Everybody is weighing in. Sarah, what are your thoughts?
I think it's reasonable. He doesn't have to invest in anything he doesn't want to invest in. It is cultural appropriation. There are complicated reasons why I'm not a huge fan of his, but I think here he's not doing anything objectionable. No one has a right to your money when you're investing, right, if you're seeking venture capital. So I don't understand why this has become such a controversy. I think he did the right thing. He was articulate when he explained his opinions. I don't know. What do you think?
I completely agree with you. And I think for me, the toughest part is that this company, or attempting to be a company, was saying that they plan to make it better, quote, and healthier, which is taking the offense even further, right? Because you're saying you're going to improve on the original.
Yes.
And therefore, the actual recipes and the actual products that Asian folks have been making for years and have so many great, amazing. I love my bubble tea. Okay. Like I survive on bubble tea. So I was offended too. And I think, hey, what is that phrase? Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah.
So there you go, Simu. I love to see it, sir. Keep it up.
Yeah, that's a good take.
Yeah. And please nobody invest in this company, because here's the thing. Some folks on that board did. And that's unfortunate to see, but it does happen. And I think we've seen plenty of cultural appropriating companies and products out there. They get by. I was actually really heartened to see how viral this went and how angry everybody was, because that means more people are paying attention.
Yeah, I think that's good. You're right that we can learn things from viral moments.
Yes.
Honestly, I think he dealt with this perfectly, and it was good that he shut them down. But you're right. Having an extended conversation about it might educate some folks who didn't really understand why cultural appropriation was a big deal beforehand. And so I'm glad that people, if they need to learn this lesson through Dragon's Den, I don't know why that's what's going to be educating them. But I'm glad that they have that as a tool to learn more about racism and cultural appropriation.
Yeah. Also, I'm so sorry, Dragon's Den. Listen, I love me some Shark Tank and Dragon's Den here and there, but Dragon's Den looks like it was shot 30 years ago in someone's basement, and we're being sent and transmitted the episodes today. Why?
Yeah, I've never been a huge fan. You know what? Maybe this is just because I am not super entrepreneurial. I mean, maybe that's not true. I don't know. I just would never go on this show, so I don't really root for the people in the way that I think other people at home do.
Sometimes I get obsessed. I have even bought some of these products before, but I will say this. Oh, yeah. So, God, Sarah just judged me.
You bought the products?
Narrowed eye glare.
Which ones?
I got one of those. Someone was selling. This was on Dragon's Den years ago, but they were selling like caffeinated chocolate. It didn't work. I'm sorry to say. I'm not going to blast their brand name, but I'm sure you could Google it. There's another one that I actually really loved that I can't remember now, but pin in that.
Why do we need caffeine in chocolate?
Well, Sarah, I just wanted a different way to keep myself awake, and I love chocolate, okay?
I mean, I love chocolate too, but I feel like sugar gives me enough of a boost.
Not me. Not me. We're not all built as conveniently as you are, Sarah.
Okay. Well, caffeinated chocolate, I'd try it. I'm not judging. I would try that at least once.
There you go. Okay, my final point on this that I want to say is that, because me and Sarah talk about this all the time, I think a lot of people have judgment about what is the point of celebrities talking about anything that doesn't have to do with them. And we talk a lot about how it can matter and when it does matter, and I think this is a good example of that. Simu actually bringing attention to this company, but also not just the company itself, but what they were doing, why it could cause harm, is so valuable. Yeah. And the fact that it became such a big conversation is so great. And Dragon's Den is a show that has a demographic that stretches older.
Yeah,
and it has a wider demographic than you might think. So I think it's really nice to see.
No, I mean, I think that this is a case of using your platform for the good.
Yes.
He was articulate. He explained his reasoning very well so that other people could learn, and it was a teaching moment. Right. This isn't a stay in your lane moment. He knows about business. He studied it. He knows about his own cultural heritage. So this is a time when he was the right person to speak up. I just don't like it when celebrities speak up about things that they don't know anything about. That doesn't help. But this does.
Yes.
Okay, now I need to talk about Jennifer Lopez's latest cover profile for Interview. It's the first since her divorce from frequent fling Ben Affleck, and there have been some pictures that have come out since they were clearly headed for divorce that have shown that they are still at least attracted to each other.
AKA they're sleeping together.
The spark is not gone. The spark is not gone.
The spark will never die.
They will still make out in front of their children at the Polo Lounge in LA, we have discovered. That...
And I pray that they get buried together. Am I taking it too far? Like, I just want them to be in a couple's coffin.
They might. They'll still hook up in the afterlife. I believe that for them.
That's so romantic.
So in the profile, she said the split was exactly what she needed. She added, "That doesn't mean it didn't almost take me out for good. It almost did." She talks about being good on your own to find satisfaction and says still, if I see something that's hurtful, I'm not Teflon. So this is a lot of vulnerability from Ms. Lopez. What are your thoughts?
She's never this vulnerable, and I love it. And hey, I've said this before, I'll say it 100 more times, that I root for this woman. I know she's a bit of a mess, and she's absolutely not the underdog that she likes to think that she is. And she has fooled me once, she's fooled me twice, she'll do it again and again. But for some reason, I root for her. And I need everyone listening to go and immediately Google the cover of this magazine because it's so fucking hot. She looks unbelievable. She always will. And I don't know. I still wish in my heart of hearts she and Ben could have made it work together. Maybe they just don't need the ring. Maybe that's the curse. But it was cool to kind of see her be honest. And I think it's relatable, right? And here's the thing. I do actually think her personality and her brand are Teflon because she's always able to move on. She doesn't get haunted by all of these things in the way some other people do. Like even just this profile is pretty big and she snapped right back. Like this is weeks after the split, right?
Yeah. I mean, what I took from this profile is it sounds like Ben left her. What do you think?
Oh. Yeah. And dare I say it, if we're thinking about him potentially cheating, it could be confirmed by these quotes.
He is a serial cheater. So
allegedly.
Allegedly with the nanny, like allegedly with his children's nanny when he was married to Jennifer Garner. Allegedly this time with Kit Kennedy, right? Yeah. Like allegedly with a lot of people. Maybe he's not. You're right. Maybe people just keep accusing him of cheating with attractive women that he just, kissed on the cheek. Maybe that's what happened.
Maybe a high five here and there, a side hug.
Yes.
I want the best for Ben, too, okay?
I still don't understand why you like him so much.
I just love, adorable, goofy men who just, they constantly get into a little bit of a mess. They're a lot like my dog, like...
He's like Omar.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the record, I cannot defend myself. I know that. I'm well aware. And I want everyone to know that I have a sickness, and it is called Ben Affleck.
He has... negatively impacted so many women's lives and women that I respect.
God. Sarah, that's such a huge allegation.
All right. At the very least, Jennifer Garner, who seems sainted, right? She keeps driving him to rehab and coming to help him when he's sad about his divorce from Jennifer Lopez. Like, that woman is a saint. And now Jennifer Lopez, who is a dynamo, whose Achilles heel is that she's attracted to Ben Affleck.
But hey, she has been through relationship after relationship. What happened to Mark Anthony? She is the common denominator. And I'm not saying those men are great. Mark Anthony is now dating a woman less than half his age. But listen, there's two people here.
Okay.
Sarah's never disliked me more than
Justice for Ben, I guess.
Justice for Ben and justice for Jen. I love her too. I just want them to be happy, okay? And like Jessica Chastain, they've both got enough money, and God knows they'll be fine.
They need to pay someone to keep them apart, right? They have enough money to do that. Yeah. They need to pay someone to force them to stay separate. Like, they can't go to restaurants and make out in front of their children anymore. That is so inappropriate and so confusing. Luckily, their kids are not that little. Like, if their kids were under 10, I'd say, you're going to mess them up for life.
Some of them are close to it.
It's so confusing. I know. Their children are not old enough that they can just sort of laugh at their parents for being so dysfunctional, right? This is having an impact. Poor Jennifer Garner has to pick up her kids with Ben and then reparent them and say, I'm really sorry you guys saw this.
Reparent.
Right? He has no boundaries. And J-Lo isn't innocent here. She's at fault too. She has kids. They should not be making out in public when they're getting a divorce. They shouldn't.
Well, I don't know. I mean, here's my suspicion. I think that they have really great sex. And I think when you have really great sex and really good sexual tension, it is so hard to stay apart. The children are simply a mini conflict, a little bit of an aberration, that's just getting in the way. And by the way, people at that age, single parents, they deserve love. They deserve good sex. Why can't they engage in PDA? I would much prefer it from people their age, and certainly those two faces and bodies, than 16-year-olds, as I am often subjected to on the TTC, aka the subway for American listeners.
Okay, so I have no problem with them hooking up casually. You know what? I love that for them. They should do that. They should just not be married. They have houses. They are very rich people.
Multiple houses for each.
Jennifer Lopez should invite Ben Affleck over when their kids are not there, and then they can hook up, okay? They do not have to take their children to a famous LA restaurant and then make out in front of them. That's just weird. Also, no one wants to see their parents making out.
Okay,
No one
Mom,
wants that.
I would love to see Ben and Jen make out. And I maybe
But you're not their
if I were their-
kids.
Okay, fine. That's true.
You're
That's
not their
true.
children.
That's a really good point, Sarah. But if I happen to see it, I'd be thrilled. So Ben and Jen, if you'd like to do it again, please go ahead. And if you're in Toronto and you happen to be here together and you want to do that, please go ahead.
Sadaf will supply you with her home, so you don't need to do this in public, and the paparazzi will not catch you. That is the way you should behave. I'm just saying it's not dignified. These are people who are capable of being dignified.
Yes.
We know they are. We know they know how to behave, but they can't behave in front of each other. They can't behave around each other.
Right.
And I get it. They're super attracted to each other. I understand sometimes you find someone irresistible, but find them irresistible in your, $30 million home.
Get off my lawn, says Sarah.
Get out of the Polo Lounge. The Polo Lounge is a lot of money. If I splurged on the Polo Lounge, say I took my mother there for Mother's Day or something like that, and I happened to witness this, I'd actually probably be delighted. But I would also feel so bad for those kids.
Okay.
Because that's embarrassing for them.
Forget the children. God, we always have to worry about the children. What about them? Okay. What about their needs? What about their love?
I mean, maybe this is a mom thing to say, but I do think children come first. I don't
Fine,
know.
You're right. You're right.
I'm not against them hooking up. I just want them to do it in private. They have so many homes.
And there you go. That's the final note from Sarah. And actually, you said this before, and I think this is the most important final note, that it's all just really embarrassing, which is true. It's just embarrassing, guys. Clean it up.
Yes, it is really embarrassing. Like, they need to go to therapy for this. If they are this attracted to each other, either make it work or somehow resist the attraction, because I feel like they're not good for each other.
Yeah, true.
Which is why they keep breaking up. So they need to go into some sort of detox.
There you go. Clean it up, wrap it up, take it home. And that is this week's episode. Thank you to our talented editor, as always, Evan Wexler. And thank you to our producer who joined us this week, Mary Chapron.
Thank you, Mary.
And of course, thank you to all of you amazing listeners. You can listen to The Reheat for free on the Seeker app. You can also find the show on the Frequency Podcast Network or wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to hear more from me, you can find me at _Sadaf Hassan. Sarah, where can our listeners find you?
Listeners can find me at Sarah Sahagian. And if you liked this podcast, please rate, review, and subscribe so other listeners can find us too. And if you'd like us to keep growing, we'd love for you to support us on Patreon at patreon.com/thereheat, where we've got some goods in store for you. Thanks for listening.
There's a new hot celebrity out there setting the world on fire.
Okay.
Her name is Moodang. Moodang is a hippopotamus. What Weekly? A weekly recap show where Joe updates his workaholic girlfriend on all the things she missed last week. Things like this. Animals in Australia fall into two particular categories, okay? Category 1, incredibly dangerous animals that will kill you instantly.
Terrifying, yes.
Terrifying,
absolutely.
dangerous animals. Category 2, something that looks so ridiculous you can't believe that exists on the planet Earth. Honey, birds. So, Switzerland. So, phonemes.
So that led me, of course, down the rabbit hole of 17th century Icelandic sorcery.
Nice. Scientists make living mice's skin transparent with simple food dye, honey.
No.
What Weekly? A weekly show for the way too busy. Just look for What Weekly, that's HWAT Weekly, in your favorite podcasting app.